Welcome, everybody, to the ALF Operations Podcast, where we talk compliance, operation, and whatever else is going on in the assisted living world. Presented by alfboss.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the ALF Boss Podcast. And today I am honored to have Mr. MT from Elite Elderly Care, which is a 6-bed facility located in Orange County. MT, welcome aboard.
Hey Pascal, thank you very much. It's an honor. As you know, I'm a big fan of you and whatever all you do for the community and for the ALF community and everybody. I really am. So it's a big honor for me.
Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. So let's jump in. So the facility, you're the administrator. You're also the owner, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long you've been doing this?
So not too long, actually. I'm very blessed, and I'm new to the U.S. I actually moved to the U.S. in about 2018. So I've only been here about 2.5 years. So the first facility with Elite Elderly Care was bought out as a business by my partner, Dr. Ahmed. He's also my uncle. He's a geriatrician that works in the hospital. So he bought the facility from, I don't know if you're familiar with Raffman from
Yeah.
So Raffman had two of these smaller ALFs, which he sold. He sold one of them to Dr. Ahmed. He sold the other one to Esther. And then he bought Palomar House in St. Cloud. So Dr. Ahmed bought that facility out. He bought it out before I came in, and he had his daughter, who was the administrator there. But really, assisted living isn't for everybody, as you know. It does take a kind of a special to work in a facility, because it is very all-consuming sometimes. Definitely.
So that kind of answers my second question. I was wondering how you got into the business. So you kind of like myself, the family, your uncle, and then you, gotcha. So it makes sense. So go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Other than that, what happened was I was supposed to move to the US about 6 years ago. And then we got our green cards, went back home. And 2 weeks after we went back home and we were kind of sorting everything out to move to the US, my father had a massive cardiac arrest. And he had brain damage as a result of that cardiac arrest.
Wow.
I ended up staying back overseas because we couldn't afford to bring him here, because healthcare is just so expensive here. He didn't have insurance or anything. Like a good portion of three years or so, 3.5 years looking after him, sorting out everything. And that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to get into assisted living. I've been on the other side, and it's not fun. I wanted to be able to help people, to give them a home, to people that no longer had a home or were not able to stay at home.
Definitely. Like so many others. It's funny because, I interview a lot of people, and there's always a backstory to, why they're in the, in the industry. It's not just financial reasons. There's always something, with a family member that they have to take care of, and things like that. So that's it's very unique that everybody has kind of the same story,
Right. And I believe you need that kind of thing if you're going to sustain a business like this, which is so all-consuming. You do need you do need that why. Otherwise, it's very easy getting very burned out.
Oh, definitely. So, what would you say is the hardest part, in this industry?
I really don't know, brother, because I've been doing this for about 2.5 years. I've been very lucky. So the first business wasn't very hard, because by the time the facility was bought out, it was full to capacity. Raffman was very useful and very helpful in that transition. So he helped kind of transition me into it. And then about last year, I decided to open another one. So we closed on a property about 2019. We closed on a property and we opened a new facility last year in about March. So now I have 2 facilities. So.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I didn't know about the second one. Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's interesting because, a lot of people I speak with, they're starting from scratch. So the way you came into it, that's That's amazing. I mean, it's much easier that way for sure. Like I said,
Absolutely.
it was already full, and they kind of mentored you into the position. So definitely, I would suggest if people can do that, the opportunity is there. Jump on that, because I think your chances to succeed go way up to, I would say, almost 80% if compared to opening from scratch. So definitely.
Absolutely. And that's why for me it was kind of like a very painless transition. So we opened up the new facility. I understood the business. I started marketing. So I already had those resources built up. So when my facility got licensed in February for the new facility, automatically I had those references set up, and we were able to on the first day that we opened, literally the first day that we opened, I had 3 residents move in on that day because we were able to time things accordingly. So really, I know a lot of people struggle with like staffing and all these things. By then I already had a great team established, caregivers that we were kind of transitioning in because they kind of knew that we were opening the doors in March. I also got lucky because I had 3 residents move in the same day. So instantly I wasn't in the red anymore. Um, so really smooth
Yeah, I
experience.
mean, and I stress that all the time to people. They want to open a facility, etc. And they have a business plan that we're going to open the facility, this and that. I tell them I always suggest that they think much bigger than that. 6 beds is a little hard to survive in the long run. So you should always have a plan, I believe, to open 2 or 3 more smaller ones if that's what you're going to do, for it to financially make sense. The task seems daunting at first. When you started from scratch or open your first one, just to be thinking down the road to opening a couple more. But like you just said, once you get over that hurdle of being successful with your first one, the second and third one is not as hard. You have the connections for referrals. You have staffing. You can kind of share staffing a little bit with the different facilities, and you know how to run the operation. So as long as you kind of open the facilities close to each other, I believe when you're doing a business plan, you should think big. That you should think about opening 2 or 3, so you're up to 10 beds. 10 beds and up to be financially successful in the long run. You think that you think that's a good idea as well?
Absolutely, brother. I tell everybody that my life was kind of like a triangle. So I have 2 facilities on 2 sides. They're about 5 to 10 minutes away from where I live. Each facility is about 5 to 10 minutes away from each other. Uh,
Hmm.
Times like one time I remember I was having for the new facility, I had the Department of Health, initial inspection by the Department of Health and the fire marshal on the same day. The same day, my other facility, ACA came in for a survey. So literally, I was running from one facility back to the other one. The only reason why I could do it was because I was so close.
You were so close by, exactly. And but like you were saying though, opening that second one was maybe not a piece of cake, but it was a much easier than just opening the first one, because like you already had the connections for, like you said, 3 people moved in on the first day, right?
Right, right. And because I had those existing connections kind of built up, and I was able to talk to the family members about it, and the case managers that referred me, I was able to talk to them about it. They were able to may push back that discharge because they were supposed to be discharged earlier. I told them, man, I'm opening on the first. I have my caregiver and my team ready for the first. If you could please push it back. And they were very kind in doing that. So that way,
Oh,
first day I had 3 people moving in, and so I consider myself very blessed that uh, from day one I haven't been on the red, and from day one I really haven't been doing a full-time caregiving job, which is kind of I like that. Don't get me wrong, brother, but it's not my forte. And when I started doing this, I never wanted to be an owner operator.
it, w- for like, so if you just had, so now you have 2 facilities, right? How many beds total do you have?
12.
Well, okay. So if you only had the 6 bed, financially, it would be tough, right?
It would.
It
Yes, sir.
would. Okay. That's what I'm trying to get at. That with just one 6-bed, unless you're going to do most of the work yourself, it's tough. So that's why I always try to tell people, kind of think ahead. That you're going to add, have 12 beds total, or maybe go to the next step to 18, because that's 6. I mean, it's great to be an entrepreneur and have your own business and everything, but 6 beds is tough, right?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is, and it's only going to get tougher now that the minimum wages have gone up or are in the process of skyrocketing. I don't know how.
Yeah. And the inflation of all the our expenses and everything, it's just things are getting crazy. The insurance has skyrocketed, and it's
everything, liability insurance, everything really has gone up.
It's
A lot of times,
except for the revenue of the potential residents, that stayed the same, so
exactly, and honestly, a lot of times it's when residents move in to an assisted living facility, basically they are kind of capped out at what they can pay, because a lot of times they are putting all their life savings into it.
yeah, definitely, or they're on fixed incomes, or
Mhm.
so let's talk regulations in ACA. Does ACA give you anxiety?
Initially, yes. Not as much now. It's funny. I just last Wednesday, actually, I had my biannual inspection for Elite Elderly Care. So we did the biannual licensure inspection, and it went pretty well. Now, not as much. In fact, um, I I'm on the other side of things. I actually believe that if ACA really wanted to come out and get you, I don't think any facility in Central Florida would be open, because they do cut you a lot of slack. That's my personal experience with it, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it's mine also. I mean, listen, I always say it comes down to this. If you have residents that are appropriate, uh, then you're good. I mean, you'll get caught with some class 3s. Everybody can get caught with paperwork issues, or judgment calls. But when it comes down to the care of the residents, or residents developing bed sores, or following and really injuring themselves, things like that, or elopements, things like that, residents that are really not appropriate, that's when you're going to get burned. That's when ACA's going to come after you, because they have to do something, because the newspapers are always trying to throw them under the bus, or the government or whatever, for not doing enough. But I mean, they're not going to close you down for paperwork. They're not going to close you down for simple violations. But if you're taking residents that deep down inside, that this resident is a lot of work, they're really not appropriate here. But if I don't take them, I'm going to be in the red, or I'm going to be even more in the red. I need to fill my beds, and they take whatever referral they get. That's when you run into the issues. ACA comes out, and if it has anything to do with health related, that's when you're going to get the class 1, class 2s, and things like that. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. I agree with that 100%. And again, I'm very lucky in that case, because since my partner is a geriatrician,
No.
he always determines appropriateness. So
yeah, no, that's definitely, and I try to stress as much as I can, because when there's the old saying, you play with fire, you're going to get burned, and that's the case. If the residents are not appropriate, or maybe not that's maybe under the regs they are appropriate, but you're pushing the envelope medically wise. So if they're bed bound or wheelchair bound, the chances of developing sores, bed sores, things like that, are there. And if you can't provide the care, then you're gonna get in serious trouble. So
correct.
That's the recipe, and good staff, a good team.
Oh yeah.
A good team that gets along. I know these days it's really tough. People, a lot of facilities are having a tough time hiring. I'm actually blessed. It sounds like you're blessed as well, that you have a team in place that probably been with you for a while now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have. And they are as much of a priority for me as my residents, really.
Mhm.
And I cannot stress this enough. Unless you want to be an owner operator, you have to listen to your staff and listen to their needs and listen to their opinions. Because if not, y'all better get ready to work some shifts.
Work some shifts and end up in trouble also with ACA sometimes. That they're the ones when you're not there doing the direct care, the staff is doing it. So if they don't care and they're not doing a good job when you're not there watching them, then you're going to run into some troubles, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So appropriate residents and a good staff. I know it's tough right now for people trying to put staffs together, but let me tell you, it's night and day when you go and you finally put the pieces together with staff that get along with each other and that care. Operating the facility is a lot easier. I'm not going to say not easy, but easier.
Absolutely. Could not agree with that more. Really, a good team is kind of fundamental to anything, and especially something that is such a 24-hour commitment, such as assisted living. You really are committed to 24 hours.
The only thing is, like, now it's even more difficult than it's ever been because the staff members to choose from that you hire, it's very limited. A lot of facilities are having to hire whoever applies. It's gotten that bad. So I think maybe a lot of team building activities, things like that, probably going to be done in some of these facilities, with those types of hires. But there's really no secret sauce, when I say the building the right team. It just, the pieces, you can interview somebody, you kind of get a gut feeling, if it's going to work, if it's not going to work. But a lot of things have to fall into place for it to turn out really well in the long run. Favorite part of operating these facilities?
I don't know, the ability to touch lives directly. Nowhere else can you do that more. I worked as a project manager before this, so I'm actually from the IT sector. But I love working in healthcare. I really do. It was a passion for me to be able to do it, and the fact that I can make a living off it, I consider myself blessed.
And I can definitely see that. I've had the pleasure, to interact with you quite a few times. I've at Marcia's meetings, and you always seem to have a big smile on your face, and you always seem to be, happy, in a good mood, which that says a lot. That's awesome.
No, I really am. I say this again. I moved here about 2.5 years ago. I'm a foreign kid with a funny name. Everyone's kind of really embraced me. Everywhere I've gone, they've opened up doors for me, opportunities for me. I really do feel very, very blessed to be able to do this. And my residents are all really happy too, which is another thing that I consider myself very proud of. They all seem very happy. I don't know, that brings a smile to my face.
Definitely, that's awesome, and definitely, it makes your job a lot easier. Happy residents, happy customers, happy business, happy life, right?
Right, and my overall experience has been so positive. Even with the family members, a lot of people complain about the relationship that they have with their family members. I've been, I don't know, I keep saying it. I'm knocking on wood now. Things don't change, but even the family members, they've been very cooperative. A lot of times, they call me night and day. Like, family members will call me 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. They'll call me 10 o'clock at night. I always answer my phone. And I don't know, I've been able to build that relationship where if mom says that they didn't get their medications at night and they have dementia, they probably would believe me over there.
No, but I mean, what you just said right there is really important in this business, especially, if you're operating, a smaller facility, even a large facility, that you make yourself available and you put out fires right away. If a family member has an issue, like you said, they call you directly and you're answering the phone. You're not sending them the voicemail or they're not answering to a secretary or something like that. They're answering directly to the man in charge that can make, actions happen right away. Like you said, if somebody calls you that, mom's saying she didn't get her medication, or, I'm sure you right on the phone, you tell them, hey, we're going to look into it right away. And then you get back to them with an answer, and that makes them feel comfortable, right?
Absolutely. That's what That's what I've tried to do so far, and really, I do believe it's reciprocated.
Because in a lot of situations, even in the larger facilities, you have executive directors, administrators, and they hide behind an army of staff. And sometimes families don't feel comfortable with that. They like to speak to the person directly in charge and to get a resolution to the problem right away, and it's taken care of. And I can't stress enough how definitely important that is, for sure. So let's go. So what's the hardest thing about operating a facility?
I think the hardest thing about operating a facility is, I think, managing the finances. A lot of times it gets very, very difficult because you want to do as much as you can for your residents, but sometimes just balancing that income also gets a little tricky. The other thing that I feel is difficult is finding the right resident. Sometimes is also very hard, as well as the right staff. Definitely.
Definitely. So I don't want you to give away your secrets, but I guess your referrals, they come directly from, I guess, social workers at the hospital, doctors, or you do marketing.
I do.
How's that?
I work with a few placement companies also. Well, some of the ones that are here, a lot of them do move from SNFs. Honestly, SNFs are my favorite referral sources. When someone moves in from a SNF, I believe their expectations are a little easier to manage than when a resident moves from home to this place as their first facility. So SNFs really are my preferred referral sources.
No, I mean that's a very good source to have, and there's definitely a lot of them out there, and you just got to get connected with the right people. I always tell people connections, connections, connections. You got to attend the networking events, things like that, and hopefully one day you bump into the right person and make a good connection that can fill your beds moving forward. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. One thing, brother, that I wanted to kind of discuss with you. One thing that does annoy me about long-term care that I wish was a little different was that same resident that's just in the long term in the nursing home wing of a skilled nursing facility. The fact that the SNF can bill close to about $7,000, whereas we're being paid a maximum of 1,400 from the insurance. I find that kind of ridiculous. Really, give us small communities maybe $3,000, $5,000 to manage that resident that they were paying 7,000 or 7,000 or whatever for in the nursing home. I guarantee you, we would do a much better job at keeping them happy.
Oh, I definitely agree with you, and that's been the ongoing battle, up in Tallahassee and all that. But I'll do one better for you. I mean, I've been in the business long enough that that program was even around. So and when it did start, it started that the plans were paying $700 a month.
Wow.
So we've managed to get it up to 1,400. But for many years, when facilities talking about being in the red, things like that. Trust me, brother, when I tell you we were in the red for a long, long time. If it wasn't for that program, we would have closed our doors, 15 years ago. That program has definitely saved us. It used to be called the Nursing Home Diversion Program.
Okay.
Now it's the long-term community-based services. But definitely, we could definitely use more. I think there's going to be shortages coming, very soon. A lot of them for low-income residents. The shortage of beds is already there because nobody can survive, with that amount of income. So it's going to be interesting to see in the next 5 years here and see where we're heading. But anything you want to add for somebody trying to get into the business? Somebody new that wants to open up a facility.
I'd say do it for the right reasons. Do it for the right reasons. If
Yeah.
you're in this purely from a business point of view or a financial point of view, it will be an uphill struggle. So everybody's got to do it for the right reasons. And hopefully, moving forward, I know you guys have done a great job in Tallahassee with these battles. Hopefully, moving forward, you guys can do. I don't know. We get paid what we deserve, honestly, and that would be very helpful.
Definitely. I agree with you 100% on that one, for sure. Well, MT, thanks for coming on, and it's been a pleasure. And, if you want to put a plug in for your facilities, go right ahead, my friend.
Perfect. Thank you very much, brother. As I said, I'm a big fan. I hope to aspire to do as much for the community as you do, because really you do a lot. I was actually looking forward to working with you as part of the residential home care network, but I guess Marcia told us that since there's a little bit of a conflict, we won't be seeing as much.
Yeah, but I'll definitely be involved. I just can't be, on the board there, but I'll definitely be involved, my friend.
Right.
All right. Thanks again, and have a great day.
You too, brother. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, thank you.
Bye.